Hello, everyone. Welcome to another podcast organized by the SNS project ICE. My name is Ioannis Tomkos. I'm Professor of Telecommunications at the University of Patras in Greece, and I serve as a member of the SNS steering board. Today, I have the pleasure to have with us Professor Dan Kilper, who I know well since the beginning of the millennium, when we were both working in USA. Dan is Professor of Future Telecommunication Networks at Trinity College, Dublin, and also the Director of the Connect Center since 2021. In the past, among other positions, he was a member of the technical staff at Nokia Bell Labs. And now, in his current roles, he's serving as the coordinator of the 6G Excel project, a project that belongs to a category of the 27 new SNS projects that started running as of January 1st, 2024, and is the only project that engages partners from both Europe and US on a research collaboration about the use of AI in 6G network. So we would like to hear more about this project done and its activities. So let's get down to our discussion. So how is AI going to change things in the future 6G networks? Let's start with that.
Hi, thanks, Ioannis, and I'm really delighted to be here and talking about the 6G Excel project, which we're so excited about. And as you say, we're looking at AI for 6G, and there's a lot of discussion going on right now, as we all know, about the role of AI for 6G. Clearly, everyone understands that 6G will play a critical role in delivering AI applications. We see that already, and but also, of course, there's quite a bit of interest in how AI will be used for 6G, and clearly the two will have some sort of interplay as well. And there's still many open questions, and in fact, a lot of what is unique about AI for 6G is the data-driven aspect of it, right? So. In fact, we have many tools and we know how to optimize networks quite well. And so often the question comes in, what's different about using AI? What's special about AI? And we're all trying to figure that out. And at the end of the day, what really is unique in the capability it brings in is this kind of data-driven approach. And of course, data, once you get into it, you start looking at it, it's much more complicated than it seems at first, right? There's all sorts of issues about how to collect it, how to curate it, and how to deal with privacy and proprietary aspects of it, and so forth. And then managing, operating, and running these AI workflows in a communication environment. It's not at all clear how that's going to work and what's going to happen there, right? So there's a very important role. It's really many of us, we point to it as a game-changing technology, and there's tremendous amount of research right now going into using AI for communication networks. But there's a lot of uncertainty about well, what are the real gains? How are we going to use that? Many network operators are quite nervous about letting their networks and handing it over to some intelligent algorithm, right? So there's much interesting work to be done here. There's a lot of good research going on, and so it's extremely important topic for 6G clearly, and one that we'll be going after with this project certainly.
So indeed, there are many challenges that needs to be addressed, and a project like 6G Excel indeed can tackle many of those. So what are the goals of the project, where you are focusing on, and what are the expectations?
Yeah, so 6G XL, well, first off, it's a cooperative project between the EU and the US. And so we set up this project to develop a framework for working with AI for 6G networks. And this framework we refer to as a decentralized, multi-party, multi-network AI framework. And we bring in those elements of implementing AI across networks because we really see them as a critical and difficult component of working with AI. We're all talking about using AI for end-to-end communication, delivering applications more efficiently with lower latency. But ultimately, that means working across different types of networks. As we open up networks, we bring in kind of multi-party applications and controls potentially, which complicates things. And ultimately, it's not clear that some large decentralized and intelligent engine will be able to run any network, right? It's more likely that there's some sort of decentralized type of a system of AI algorithms that would be used. And so really understanding how these different pieces come together, there's big questions about how do we make measurements that can be reproduced across different testbed environments. And at the end of the day, we need to show that AI is yielding tangible benefits, that it's reliable. And so we need ways of working with and understanding AI. And so there was an appreciation that there's an opportunity here to develop a framework for the study of AI for 6G that really targets these difficult areas. And so this project, given that we're bringing together a large ecosystem of folks across the EU and US, is a great opportunity to really start to pull together that framework, create a toolbox, if you will, of these different network functions that would enable AI end-to-end across the different network platforms and environments. And so that's the main goal of the project, is to create this framework and then to implement it across the many different partners and test beds that we're bringing together with this project, and create this community of researchers and test beds working on AI for 6G in the most effective way that we can have real impact on standards and really drive this forward effectively for 6G.
So it's clear what are the goals of this project. However, let me say that such investigations could have been conducted within Europe, within the partners working on the relevant topics in Europe. So why is this project so unique and focuses on collaboration across the Atlantic between US and Europe? So what we can expect from such cooperation, in particular for the use of AI in 6G?
Well, I mean, clearly 6G will be a global standard, right? And the role of AI really needs to be effectively defined and used again internationally across the globe. And so it really takes an entire global community to make progress here. And a lot of it revolves around, I mentioned before, the role of data, and this is where we bring in the role of test beds, right? And how do you implement AI in kind of, let's say, environments where we can really test it in a reliable and effective way, and to make progress that's going to have impact on the standards and product. And so it's important to bring together more than just the European ecosystem, but to reach across to another large research area in this space. There are many folks in the US doing work in this space. So this creates a great kind of center of mass for activity in this area. We can share these best practices and really get our two large regions aligned in this way. And then that can help to foster even a broader international cooperation in this respect. I mean, we really have the goal of creating a foundation for how we can work on AI that can be effective, again, end-to-end for 6G. And to do that alone, it's much harder. To do that together, we can be much more effective.
Correct, correct. So the aspirations for this project are quite high, and I'm sure that it will attract a lot of visibility over the next coming years. The ecosystems at both sides of the Atlantic working on AI for 6G are quite large, but in this project there is a more limited set of people that are involved. So perhaps you can let us know who are the key players from both sides of the Atlantic being involved in this project.
Right, and we saw this as a great opportunity where we have a sort of a seed amount of funding to do some initial experiments, set up this framework, get things started across the various test beds. And really, it's a project that we view as bringing together many other large projects. And so we have a great team to do this in the EU. We have Deutsche Telekom, and you know, they're involved in the I-14Y lab. Together with HHI Berlin. We have Dinekis in Greece, IBM Ireland Research Center, IMEC in Belgium, and they have their test beds there on their city lab and their smart roadway. We have Juniper in Greece, who's of course working very closely with the University of Patras and the PNET test bed. And then we have Sorbonne University, who's heading up the SLICE's research infrastructure program. So we're very deeply connected to and working with SLICE's on this. Trinity College Dublin is coordinating this, and we have our Connect Center and Open Ireland testbed that we'll be using here. And then University of Aalborg in Denmark and University of Patras in Greece, I already mentioned. So those are the EU partners, and a really excellent ecosystem of test beds and institutions that we're bringing together. Now, together, we've already started working with and developing programs with many US partners. We have AMD and Apple. We have Columbia University, so they're involved in the Cosmos Power Platform, so we're connected into the NSF Power Platform. And there's also an engineering research center called Smart Streetscapes that will be a part of this. Duke University is leading the Athena AI Institute. It's another NSF-funded AI institute that's involved here. There's Juniper and IBM in the US, and also Nokia Bell Labs in the US. There's the Rutgers team that's also part of WinLab, and they're involved in Cosmos. And then Virginia Tech and the Commonwealth Cyber Initiative. So that's quite a large initiative and effort there. And then Yale University is also involved in the Athena AI Institute.
Fantastic. So I'm sure that all these partners will do great job, but by engaging more partners and more collaborators in this effort, probably we can expect even a higher impact. So are there any ideas on how you can actually disseminate in a better way your activities and reach out to more companies and organizations working on these topics?
Yeah, so absolutely. So as I mentioned, we're developing this framework, and so it's going to be a set of software tools, and we'll have open source as well as we'll be using the Juniper platform and developing it as X apps and R apps as well. So it can fit into kind of an Open RAN RIC environment. And what we want to do is really make this project more about bringing others together and getting them engaged and trying out these tools as well. So we'll be holding many workshops where we tell people about the framework, share the code and open source. We want to try to team up with other SNS projects. So there are many projects that are working on AI solutions and so forth. And our framework is designed to really be agnostic to the types of AI that you're using. And But the idea is to come up with methods so that you can implement these on different test beds and do measurements and compare results that can be compared apples to apples, let's say, right?
Okay.
And so really, we want to look for opportunities where, for example, we have a proposal for a special session in an EU CNC. We'll work with another project and kind of see how their AI solutions might fit in with our framework and how they could use the framework and how we could learn from them and what they're doing. And in fact, part of the involvement of all these different test beds and centers is to be able to get that input from all these different folks and again, to see something where we can come up with common practices and common tools and methods rather than trying to be prescriptive and saying, okay, here it is, and just trying to push that on everyone. So we want very much to be working with the other projects, and we have quite an ambitious communication plans of many workshops and seminars and getting out to the community. We'll be running hackathons where we try to work together and have people use our software tools and so forth. And so there'll be many opportunities. That it's going to be quite an open project. We're not intending to build something and keep it all closed. We're very welcome to have others participate and be involved and help us to develop this framework as well.
Very good. I believe for these purposes you just described, disseminating the outcomes of the project to wider pool of people, cooperation with the ICE project will be vital, and I'm sure all the colleagues of ICE will assist in that effort. But let me also ask you one more question. You are going to work on this project for some period of time while you have funding from the European Commission. But what about the plans for sustainability of this project beyond its duration? What are the ideas you have in order to ensure that this project will have a long-lasting impact?
Well, I mean, one of the key things is that we're building these tools into some of the major testbed infrastructure around the world, certainly in the EU and the US, right? So the Power platform in the US, which many people know, we'll be building these tools, this framework into those platforms so it's available. And of course, the Cosmos testbed, anyone can log in, run experiments on that. So you'll be able to log in and experiment using this framework. Similar for the SLICES program. So this is research infrastructure. It's European-wide. And so we'll be implementing it in that platform and create test environments where people will be able to now work with that. And so the idea is that we want to get this integrated in with the various projects that are going on so that it will continue beyond the current project and it'll be continued to be developed and worked on as a framework or platform for future work.
It's a very exciting initiative, a very nice idea to have such a cooperative project between US and Europe. And I'm sure that 6G will excel based on the outcomes of this project. I hope that we manage to provide useful information to all those that hear us at this podcast. Dan, I would like to thank you so much for this discussion. And I wish all the best to your project.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure to be here and talk with you today.